Rev it up and welcome to Cars Yeah, show number 1435. Today on Cars Yeah, we're celebrating the UAE Concours d'Elegance that takes place December 12th, 13th, and 14th in Dubai at the Bulgari Hotel and Resort. To learn more, go to uaeconcours.com.
In life, you always deliver performance beyond conformance.
This is Cars Yeah, where you'll enjoy interviews with inspiring automotive enthusiasts. Mark Green is here to provide you with a fuel injection of automotive inspiration. So get in, sit down, buckle up, and get ready for a wild ride here on Cars Yeah.
Hey Cars Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Covercraft. I've protected my vehicles with their products for decades. Want to keep your vehicle's interior looking new? It's easy with Covercraft seat covers. They'll protect your seats from the daily abuse of pets, children, weekend adventures, and even those everyday spills. It's a fast, easy, and inexpensive way to keep your vehicle looking new. All Covercraft seat covers are easy on, easy off design that are machine washable. You can choose from many fabric options, colors, and accessories, all designed and carefully sewn for your special vehicles. Their seat gloves are semi-custom fit for cars and trucks, and their seat savers, a favorite of mine, are custom tailored to fit your seats like a glove. Work truck seat covers are tough, durable, denim weight fabric. It's like putting a pair of rugged jeans on your truck's seats. Want to stay warm? Covercraft also offers seat heaters. Covercraft is the right choice. Learn more today at covercraft.com and tell them Mark at Cars Yeah sent you. That's covercraft.com. My favorite collector car magazine is Keith Martin's Sports Car Market. I've been a subscriber for decades. Sports Car Market is the Wall Street Journal for the enthusiast and the collector. It's your monthly must-read whether you dream of owning a collector car, have 2 cars, or 200. Sports Car Market has been around for 31 years, and it's filled with valuable articles, intelligent write-ups, and the latest auction sales. Go to sportscarmarket.com and subscribe today. Plus, you'll get the exclusive SCM guide to restoration shops included for free. At checkout, use the code CARSYEAH and receive a 50% discount on your digital subscription. It's an exclusive offer from me here at Cars Yeah. I'm Mark Green, and I love Sports Car Market magazine. Hello, automotive enthusiasts. I'm revved up and so excited to introduce today's very special guest, calling in all the way from Dubai, Mohammed Luqman. Mohammed, are you buckled up and ready for a fun ride?
Let's get on. Yeah.
All right. Mohammed Luqman, a.k.a. Vintage Con, is the curator of the UAE Concours d'Elegance. He is a now I'm going to say this wrong. Hyderabad? Am I saying that right? Hyderabad,
that's right.
Hyderabad-born. Hyderabad is, of course, the capital of southern India's Telangana state. My Indian is very poor. Thanks for bearing with me here, Mohammed. UAE-based Retromobilist and channel head and lead anchor of Hyderabad's first 24/7 English news channel, HYTV. He has produced numerous television programs, including the interview show Straight Talk and the 60 Minutes with series. He is a founder and CEO of ML Consulting, a marketing firm. As a motoring enthusiast, Mohammed has spent over 3 decades tracking, chronicling, and researching veteran Edwardian vintage and classic cars. He has authored many books, including Automobiles of the Nizams, Automobiles of Sheikh Zayed, Sheikh Zayed's Rolls-Royce, Toll-Royce in Arabia, and the Noble Napier 823. A businessman by profession and a retromobilist by passion, Mohammed has experienced an eventful journey from spectator to curator. So, Mohammed, I have told our listeners just a little bit about you. Would you take a brief moment, share a little bit more about your life, your career, and a very obvious passion that you have for fine automobiles?
Well, firstly, thanks for having me on your show, Mark. Good to be talking to a fellow enthusiast.
Yes.
Of sort of motoring acumen. I'm originally from Hyderabad, as you just said. It's from the south of India, the city of the Nizams, known the world over with that tag as such. So, originally I was born there. I was brought up there. I had my education there. I did my master's in accounting first, only to realize later accounting is not something I wanted to do. Then I switched on to marketing, and again, I went on to do a master's in marketing, had my MBA. Post that, I went to England, and in England, I had a stint at the marketing qualification, and it's similar to what you have as a chartered accountant or a chartered marketing qualification. This was a Chartered Institute of Marketing where I had my marketing qualification, an ACIM that is, and spent time in England studying, and in England as well had the same thing at the back of my mind, which was vintage cars, and been always with Retromobilists. I call myself a Retromobilist. Anything old is what sort of I'm drawn towards. So yeah,
absolutely. Now, what brought you to Dubai after England? What is it about Dubai that you like living there and like doing things in that very unique part of the world?
Well, my parents have been here for a while, and my mom and dad and my brothers as well. Two of my brothers. We have four brothers with no sisters. So since the family was here, I was in England. I sort of, the lure of having a tax-free earning sort of drew me to this place, and on my way to England, and since I was shuttling between India and England, I often used to stop over in Dubai, in Abu Dhabi. So that's where I literally fell in love with the place. I like the rapid pace of developments out here, and which is when I said to myself, this is where I should be sort of spending time, considerable time of my life, and I went on to do that. So for the last 10 years I've been here, and it's like a home away from home for me now. So
there you go. Well, it's a very unique part of the world. We're going to learn a lot more about Dubai. We're going to learn about the Concorde that's taking place. But first, I want to learn a lot more about you, Mohammed. So let's start with a success quote or a mantra. This is some kind of saying that perhaps has been instrumental in forming your life and your success. It's a nice way to get the inspirational tires turning here for a retromobilist on cars. Yeah. So Mohammed, grab the wheel.
Well, over a period of time, sort of you age yourself. So out of that, you come up with your own quotes, don't you? So
yes.
So I personally sort of have come up with this. In life, you always deliver performance beyond conformance. So that's what I've stuck to in whatever I do, whether it's my work as a full-time banker, a boring banker. That's what I do. So when you deliver something, whatever it is, whatever you sort of, it's a task or a passion you're pursuing or your profession, you can always sort of endeavor to deliver it beyond the level of conformance. So you perform beyond sort of the required level of conformance. So that's performance beyond conformance is what I aim. So
that's a great quote. That's the first time I've heard that on this show. And after interviewing 1,435 people, sometimes I hear the same things over and over again. I love that. And there's an obvious interlacing of that concept between business as a banker and a marketer and automobiles, because we all who love automobiles know that conforming, boring automobiles are absolutely no fun. We like performance automobiles, things that are unique and different. So I love the relationship. Is that how that plays for you when it comes to your passion for cars?
Well, pretty much the same way. Yes, I would tend to fully agree with you, and that's what it is. So I mean, one sort of tends to dislike the mundane life. So you wouldn't want to be a 9-to-5er. Right, so just clocking out, and similarly, you wouldn't want to be sort of, into automobiles, which sort of you find sort of disinteresting as such. So yes, exotic automobiles, high performance ones. In my case, it's mostly sort of, I've always been keen on veterans and Edwardians as such, and vintage, up to classics, and I haven't been sort of much of a supercar, sort of a guy hypercar, but that's clearly, something, that is there for you. It does draw your sort of attention when you find in today's hypercars, delivering performance.
Yeah, and when you look at the books, and we're going to talk in a little bit about these marvelous books that you've authored, those cars, even though a lot of them are thought of as big, stately cars, they are performance cars. Rolls-Royce, and of course, you can linger over into the Bentley performance side, but even Rolls-Royce was known for performance back in the day. I got to spend a day at the Pebble Beach Concours tour in a 1913 Rolls-Royce, and I was shocked for a car that old and that big and that heavy, how it performed going up and down the hills of the coastline there in Northern California by Big Sur and Pebble Beach. So I think this quote of yours is absolutely, I'm going to write that down and put that in front of me. I like that very, very much. Let's take a look at the many roads you've driven down, Mohammed, and talk about a big challenge that you faced in your life, your career, or even a big failure, because there's nothing wrong with these things because they teach us things as long as we let them be teachers for us. So walk us down the path there with something that was challenging to you. And more importantly, how did you overcome that situation and what did it teach you?
Well, it's always good to talk of the present, I say. So in life, there have been quite a few failures as such, and there would be, quite a few ahead as well. So I would prefer to talk about the present. And yes, I mean, one of the biggest challenges that I'm facing now is in the role that I am, as curating a show in a region which is not known for sort of, the vintage cars or the collection or car manufacturing as such is quite a challenge. So if I was to do a similar show in the US or in Europe or the UK, or even India for that matter, things would be far easier, as you'd understand. So here, out here in the UAE, especially in Dubai and Abu Dhabi, we haven't got a culture of sort of showcasing things as such. So the show-off culture isn't here. So said there are some great cars sitting in some private collections and some really exotic cars as such, but like I said, people are very shy. They're simple by nature, and they wouldn't like to show them around and such. So sort of persuading them to bring out the cars, especially at a Concours where the world is sort of descending, and for them to sort of part with their cars and put it under the spotlight. That in itself is quite a challenge. And so within this challenge, there are failures as well. Just to give you a classic case of failure at my part related to this very Concours. Now, one of the classes that I planned for this Concours was Rolls-Royce and its phenomenal Phantoms. The idea was to line up all the 8 Phantoms from Phantom 1 till Phantom 8, that's today. All the models were arranged in sort of the owners had sort of graciously agreed to send the cars. Now these cars were coming. One was coming from Vienna, Austria. That's the Phantom 1 17EX. That is an experimental. From the Maharaja of Kashmir was the first owner of the car, and the owner graciously agreed to send the car. There was a Phantom 2. Obviously, that's coming from India. It's a Pebble Beach poster car, if you remember 2018.
Yes,
the Maharaja car, the Ghani 1 yes. So that's Phantom 2. It is coming for the Maharaja car class, though. And then the Phantom 3 was coming from Portugal. It's sitting out there in the museum. It belonged to the Prince of Berar. That's the Nizam's son again, by the way. So, he had that fantastic car used by Her Majesty and the popes, and it was a state car of Portugal. So Phantom 4 again, the rarest of all the Phantoms, just 18 were built, right? And of the 18 built, this one belonged to Prince Aga Khan. And Mr. Chiriac, it sits in Romania, and he has graciously agreed to send the car, and everything was in order. A Phantom 5 again, this is something I'll tell you later about the discovery. So all these cars are lined up to come, and now we are told they just can't make it because of, a lot of challenges such as time. We've got just about a month to the Concours and a lot of paperwork. In the EU, the rules and laws that govern the export and import of cars are pretty stringent, and one has to go through a lot of documentation. So that's quite a failure. And this particular car was, apart from the Maharaja class, this phenomenal Phantom was, pretty dear to me. It was very close to the curator, you could say. And I wanted it to happen, but it's not happening. So we just moved it to the next year, which is going to be even bigger. We are going to have the Dubai Expo 2020, which is like the New York.
Huge. Well, this is a massive challenge. I know I have had Sandra Button, and she's going to be one of your judges at this year's event on my show 3 times now. And this past summer, I was there. They had more cars coming into the Pebble Beach Concours from abroad than ever before. And she spoke about the challenges with that. And I know also I had Rana Manvendra Singh Barwani as a guest on my show. He was helping with bringing in the cars of the Maharaja year ago to Pebble Beach. And he was telling me on his show, just getting cars out of India is a huge challenge because of rules and regulations and all the things that have to happen that are almost impossible. So I can't imagine what it takes to bring all these cars from all these places. This is a massive coordinating. I call it herding cats because you're trying to keep all these cats in line and they want to do what they want to do. So, I'm sorry that that's occurred, but you know what? Things happen. The fact that you're turning lemons into lemonade by bringing them together next year is a fantastic thing. So, I have no doubt that things will drastically improve from here. All you can do is do your best and keep moving forward. So, and I have no doubt that's what you're doing. Let's have a little bit of fun and talk about your first really special vehicle, the first car in your life that had meaning for you. What was that? And maybe share a memory you have about that ride.
Well, in terms of ownership, my first car is a Wolseley 8. That's a 1940, late 48, 47 car. And I've had it for a while now. This is something I want to pass it on to my son, Aman. I've got another younger son, Afan. I want to give him one of the cars. And perhaps a car to my daughter, Hannah Mohammadi, as well. So I've got 3 kids. I want to sort of give them a car each. And the Wolseley one, because of my connection with England, the time spent in England, I've got this sort of fondness for the car. The moment I spotted it, I said, this is what I want, and I grabbed it. But something in terms of cars, the other one I have is a Morris 10. We call it Hindustan 10. That's quite an endangered car back in India. So it's soon to be extinct, is what the analysis is. So it's quite a rare car. So
yeah, absolutely. I think it's great you want to hand these down to your children, which is very cool. My kids aren't that much into cars, so although my son did a lot of car events with me, I think he went to Pebble Beach like 18 times in a row from the age of 7 or 8 years old. I have never quite gotten my daughter into it. She's just not into it. So that's okay. Not her thing, but I think it's great that you want to hand these vehicles down to your children. It's just fantastic, kind of carrying on that passion and legacy. Is there a vehicle you've owned that you've let go that you really wish you still had?
Well, I tell you what, if it's a seller's remorse that you're talking about, then in that case, I will talk about a seller's remorse that I've inherited. So that would be interesting.
Okay. An inherited remorse. Yeah. You'll be the first.
So, that's something I've inherited, sadly. And, this was, 3 magnificent cars of my my mother's great-grandfather. He was Nawab Rasool Yarjan, sort of an aristocrat back here in India, Hyderabad. He was one of the ministers of the Nizams. So he had these 3 fabulous cars. I tell you what, the lesser I speak about them, the better, because they were all 3 Rolls-Royces, all now sort of missing.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah. Wow. Well, special car. What were the 3 Rolls-Royces? Well,
one of them was the most sort of premium among them was the 1920 Silver Ghost he had, and that was chassis 61 CW. And and the one he had after that, the first Silver Ghost was a Barker Tourer, and the one after that was a 1926 Connaught Tourer. This Connaught Tourer was a 83 SC, that's the chassis number for that. And then he had another Phantom one, again for the same year, 1926, and that was 12 NC, that's the chassis number for that. And that was a Hooper Cabriolet. So, and just imagine, where are they now? Is what the quest is all about. You never know if I find any of these. So, but the search continues. The search continues. Most likely he's scrapped, as they used to do back in the day. So
Yeah. Wow. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Well, I'm sorry to bring that up. We'll just move on to better things here. I would love for you to share with our listeners a lot more about the UAE Concours. I'm learning a lot about it since you and I met months ago. And I want you to just share what people can expect if they're fortunate enough to be there at this event. There's always next year as well, if you want to plan ahead, because if you're coming from the U.S., the UAE is a long way away, or from anywhere for that matter. So what can people expect to see at the UAE Concours this year?
Well, I tell you, Mark, we are sort of, as a curator, I've sort of listed a few sort of, classes as such. So, and then one of the premier classes for the show, the most popular, I could say for now, is the motor cars of the Maharajas. The exotic cars of the Maharajas of India owned back then, during the days of affluence. This was before the colonial period and during. So days of the Raj. It is similar to what you had at the Pebble Beach last year, the motor cars of the Raj, which you've seen yourself personally. And apart from that, we've got a lot of anniversaries, the Bentley Centennial. It would be an impressive lineup of Bentley cars. It would be sort of a tribute, to the marvelous mark, celebrating 100 years. Then we'd be doing the Golden Jubilee of the Mini, the 60 years, a range of Minis out here as well. And the Rolls-Royce and its phenomenal Phantoms, the class, that I spoke to about, sadly, that's been moved to the next year. And in place of that, we'll have the centenary for Citroën. Quite a few classes, and in terms of what's happening, and more important, something important I should mention out here is the key award. The best of the show And then within the Motor Cars of the Raj, we'll have a trophy called Zayed Gandhi Trophy. This trophy is named after Sheikh Zayed, the founding father of the country, a great visionary leader out here, and the Mahatma Gandhi, whose 150th birth centenary, is what we are celebrating this year.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Now, the event takes place at a very special location, right?
Well, it does. It's a very exclusive place, thanks to our sort of host partners, Bulgaria, who has sort of graciously agreed to continue with us for this year and possibly for the next year as well. Bulgaria, it's a stunning place, off the Jumeirah Bay. It's a hotel and resort of Bulgaria, and a very plush and a spectacular setting with the sort of, the view of the Dubai skyline and all of that. So lovely. And I must mention here the opportunity that I had, the honor sort of to empanel all these judges, all the top names, many of them you know of, and you've already spoken to quite a few of them. Simon Kidston, Sandra Button graciously agreeing to be part of the judging panel. Nigel Matthews, by the way, we're using his score sheets from the ICJAC. And Richard Adatta is coming. Lorenzo from Concours de Eleganza, Villadista, and His Highness Madhvendra Singh, Burbani himself, Patrick Rollet, Fever. Yeah, quite an impressive. The who's who. I call it the Motorati, just like the glitterati.
Yeah, these are some incredible people, and I've had several of them. As I mentioned, Sanders been a guest on the show 3 times now. Richard Adato's been on the show. I got to have breakfast with Richard my last day during Car Week at Pebble Beach. We ran into each other at a restaurant in Carmel and got to dine together, which is very cool, along with John Nikas, who's an incredible automotive author who's been on the show as well. And several other people. Nigel's been a guest on the show too. So you've got a fantastic lineup of judges, a fantastic event. And I know from playing around online, there are some incredible cars in Dubai, supercars, amazing cars there. So I would imagine a lot of people there who are into cars, enthusiasts will be there, and the parking lots alone will probably have some pretty spectacular cars to look at, don't you think?
That's precisely what I spoke to you about earlier, if you remember. Yeah, because in a country you're not known for its classic cars or vintages, and more for its supercars and hypercars and all of that. That would be quite an impressive. We've got a special class called the supercars. That's another class which will have the super and uber cool cars, as they call it nowadays. So
yeah, absolutely, very, very cool. Look forward to this very much. So, Mohammed, up next is the last lap before we put the pedal to the metal. Let's say thank you to today's Cars Yeah sponsors. When you want proven performance, there's one brand that's been around since 1938. That's Edelbrock, building the finest American-made performance products for the street and track. Edelbrock's products are designed and dyno-proven to deliver maximum results. Edelbrock has thousands of made-in-the-USA performance products for all makes and models. From their new AVS2 carburetor and innovative ProFlow 4 EFI for your muscle car or truck, to superchargers for your daily driver and more, visit Edelbrock.com to check out the latest products for your ride. And when you're ready to check out, enter Cars Yeah in the coupon code and get 10% off your order. That's Edelbrock, automotive performance since 1938. You take care of your cars, but who takes care of your investments? Tune-ups aren't just for engines. Updating your financial plan is important too. Your GPS may take you from A to B, but it won't help you on the road to financial freedom. For that, you need a good co-pilot and a very trusted advisor. Chris Campbell CFP is just the man for the job. He'll guide you down that road without driving you crazy. For over 25 years, Chris has helped people just like you and me with their financial planning and investments. With a master's degree in financial services, he is eminently qualified, and he's a car guy too. Learn more at chrisvkimball.com or call 866-ON-A-PLAN. Securities through Money Concepts Capital Corp. Member FINRA SIPC. CK Financial Services is not affiliated with Money Concepts Capital Corp. Are you looking for a way to get your products or services into the ears of thousands of automotive enthusiasts around the globe? I can help. This is Mark Green here at Cars Yeah, and I'd be honored to be an influencer and ambassador for your brand in a unique and personal way. 5 days a week, thousands of subscribers and listeners enjoy the Cars Yeah podcast and website. Contact me today and I'll show you how at mark@carsyeah.com or connect with me through the Cars Yeah website at carsyeah.com. All right, Mohammed, we are back, and I have a bit of an introspective question for you. I'm going to kind of get into your head a little bit to see how you think. If you woke up tomorrow and you were manifested as a vehicle, not what you want to be, but how you perceive yourself as a vehicle, what would Mohammed be and why?
Well, I tell you what, a silver ghost. We spoke about it earlier. Right? That's something I'd like to be. I'd like to be a Rolls-Royce silver ghost, most cherished, and sort of in terms of the mechanical aspects of it, sort of the most superior car, and much loved as well. So who wouldn't like to be loved? So I would like to be sitting in the plush garages of mansions and all that. Yeah, so well taken care of, and So
I think that sounds like a plan. Yes, very worldly indeed. All right, we are entering what I call the last lap, and I'm going to fire off a series of questions and ask you to give our listeners some very quick blips of that Rolls-Royce Ghost throttle. So here we go. What's the best automotive advice you've ever received?
Well, something I sort of had a word of wisdom from someone I hosted. He's a Rolls-Royce historian who stayed at my place, and I've had the honor of hosting him. He had told me, stay focused and profit from your passion. So these things have remained with me, and so as long as you sort of stay focused, passion is sustainable only if one profits from it. So a classic example is yourself, the great work that you're doing. So, you do it out of passion, but then you need to profit to be able to sustain the business model, isn't it? And that's what it is. So it's through partners and sponsors and all of that you sustain your passion. Otherwise, it just fizzles away, does it? So.
Absolutely. Great advice. How about a personal habit of yours that you believe has contributed to your success over the years?
Well, I can talk of the persistence that I've had, persisting with research. And so persistence is something that has, sort of paid me dividends in the long run, because if you persist with the research, like the cars I spoke about, or the books that I'm authoring, which I sort of given you the titles of at the moment as we're researching. So the more you persist, the more you continue with that, you tend to sort of unearth automotive gems and documents and photographs and all of that. So, like the way I've done with the Phantom 5, one of the most recent discoveries of mine is, the rediscovery of a long-lost motor car which belonged to the ruler of Abu Dhabi. And, it is the most significant motor car in the history of the UAE, which has been discovered by me. I sort of dashed down, hopped on a flight, and went to sort of Europe, to make a quick deal for the car. And, it's a great car. So things like these. And then I was writing my first book on the automobiles of the Nizams, Her Highness Princess Asra and His Highness Prince Azma Jah Bahadur, her son, and gave me graciously the permission to look into the archives of the Nizam. So it's through persistence that I've been able to sort of pull out records and photographs never before published, never before seen, and information on cars never ever heard about. So a Straker Squire was found out by me, and I found out documents and sort of historic photographs of the car, which are part of my book. And it's a motor car which seats about 24 people. That's what the documents say. So just imagine that, all of that. But these things, they keep it going.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, how about a resource? Is there one out there that is a go-to, say, for you that you'd like to share?
Well, there are quite a few, I tell you. I would recommend Grace's Guides, gracesguide.co.uk. That's a great website with a lot of information about, on almost all the automobile sort of marks as such, brands. Coachbuild.com is another one. That's coachbuild.com. And Team BHP as well. TeamBHP.com is more for the Indian cars, the Maharaja cars and all of that. Very informative. All the top researchers, and collectors and passionate guys. A lot of them, put out a lot of photographs and information with a lot of enthusiasm there. It's very helpful. Like I say, I normally say that no one knows it all. So it's just a case of sort of, and sort of knowledge only increases after sort of once you share it with others.
Absolutely. Very important to do for sure. How about if I could arrange for you to sit down and have a drink or a meal with anyone in the automotive industry, living or deceased? Who would it be?
That's an interesting one. For this, I'll have to go up, I guess. That would be, Sir Henry Royce for me. Purely for his mechanical acumen and, the gem that he's created, and a marvel at a time when people were sort of delivering cars worth just about $100, $150. Here is a man who's sort of delivering cars, which is sort of sensational silver ghost, and the best car in the world in terms of its performance and all of that. So really, there was something. When you have an aviator, a legendary aviator like Charles Rolls, telling people that I found the best mechanic in the world, then that's quite a compliment, you see. So you would want to meet the man. So.
Yeah, I think so. There's a previous company I worked for and ran. We had a quote that we used in the concept of the business, and that was a quote by Henry Royce: "Strive for perfection in everything. Take the best that exists and make it better. If it doesn't exist, create it. Accept nothing nearly right or good enough." I always thought that was a great quote for sure. He would be something to sit down with. Now, how about books? I always ask my guests to share a book that they enjoy. Now, you have penned some marvelous books that I mentioned at the beginning of the show. I'd love for you to kind of just quickly walk through those again with us, and let us know, too, where are they available? How can people get their hands on these books?
Well, I tell you what, first a small correction that I am sort of in the process of authoring these books, researching as such. They're not out yet. And the first one is ready, obviously, due to be published. The Automobiles of the Nizams is the very first one, followed by Automobiles of Sheikh Zayed. That's the second one. And the third one is the Sheikh Zayed's Rolls-Royce Phantom 515 I told you about, the one that I discovered, through the archive and all of that. And then I tell you what, let me use Cars Yay today to sort of announce a book which I had kept to be announced at the UAE Concours.
Oh,
so let's do it now. So,
great.
Let's do it now. So, the next book, only the owner knows of it, who has commissioned me to do the book. It will be called the Noble Napier 823. 823 is the number of the car. And, I'm pleased to announce this on your show.
Well, so congratulations. A scoop here.
Thanks a lot. Yeah, and so we were sort of scheduled to do the book cover, the cover release at the UAE Concours for this one, and no better time, and no better show than yours to do it.
Well, sure, absolutely. And what I'll do is, when these books are all available, you let me know. I'll update your show notes page, and I'll put links to where my listeners can go and get their hands on these books. I would love to do that for you.
Lovely, that would be great. That would be so helpful. Thank you.
You're welcome very much. Well, Mohammed, these all sound like fantastic books. I'll make sure that when they come out, we put a listing of where people can get a hold of them. They sound like some wonderful gifts for a good friend of mine, Tim Adams. He stood up in my wedding many 35 plus years ago. He loves Rolls-Royce motor cars, and he happens to be a Fabergé expert. He travels the world lecturing about Fabergé. Kind of hoping he'll send a Fabergé egg to my daughter for her wedding. I wonder if he'll do that. That would be kind of nice, but shout out to Tim and his love for Rolls-Royce. Again, I'll remind you, you can find all these great resources that Mohammed has shared with us today on his Cars Yeah show notes page. Just go to carsyeah.com, type in Mohammed Luqman, Luqman, and that page will pop right up. All right, we're up to the checkered flag here, and this last question can be a bit of a doozy. Today, I'm going to buy you, Mohammed, any car in the world. Doesn't matter who owns it or where it is. I'm going to make sure that you have it parked in your garage. But there are some rules to my game that might make it a little bit of a challenge. One is you can't sell it to buy a bunch of other cars with. You have to keep it. It's the only collector car you can have, and you have to drive it. No garage queens or museum pieces allowed here. So what can I buy you today, Mohammed?
I think you've heard this quite a few times today. Buy me a silver ghost, the sensational silver ghost. So I'd be happy with that. Yeah, I'd be happy with that. And that's something I would like to keep discarding all others. And so I can dispose of all of the cars and to keep a silver ghost. And, like I said, it's the ultimate one can have, the best car in the world. The tax stays on.
Oh, you go. Okay.
Long after it was given, yeah.
Yes, I will get to work and see what I can find you there. You're not going to make it easy for me, are you? But that's okay. That's okay. I'd be more than happy to park a silver ghost in your garage. Well, I'm very excited for you in this event this year, Mohammed. Thank you for taking us on a wonderful ride today. I want to thank you for calling in all the way from Dubai, and thank you for sharing your life's journey as well. Could you offer us one little parting piece of wisdom or guidance before you drive off into the desert in that beautiful silver ghost?
Well, I tell you what, I would advise people to sort of, do what I'm doing, which is just stay focused and, follow your passion. Just sort of, pursue what you really like in life. Like I said, just like your children, my parents weren't that much into motoring. So, if you can just reward the order. So they have been doing this, I've been doing this for a while now, and they have sort of now resigned So everybody comes around to support you, and they literally, so they reluctantly resign, is what I say, to the fact that you are passionate about something. So just follow your passion. Yeah, stay true to your passion. That's it.
Absolutely. That's a way to be happy in life. And I'll remind our listeners again, check out the website, UAEConcours.com. See what's happening with this event. Even if you can't be there, you can follow them along, perhaps plan to visit next year. Should be a fantastic event.
Sorry, there's another website I wanted to give, so where people can get in touch with me.
Yes,
it's called www.automobilesofsheikhzayed.com. So if they look up for my name on Google, they'll find it. So through their website, they can get in touch with me as well. So yeah.
Okay, great. We'll make sure I put a link to that as well on Mohammed's show notes page, so you can check that out. Mohammed, thank you for calling in. Thank you for being so generous with your time and expertise, and thank you for sharing the UAE Concours with my listeners today. Until you and I talk again, I'll see you down the road.
Thank you, Mark. Thanks for having me. It's all talking to you. Cheers.
You're welcome. Hey, Mark Green here from Cars Yeah. Did you know you can now see me on the Cars Yeah TV show? It's a weekly visit to some of my past Cars Yeah podcast guests, and I take you along for the ride. You go behind the garage door and into their lives, their businesses, and you get to see what makes them successful. With tens of millions of viewers, Cars Yeah TV is making its mark. Cars Yeah TV is available on MAV TV and Lucas Oil Racing TV. You'll find MAV TV on Direct TV, Fubo TV, Fios by Verizon, or you can stream it through Lucas Oil Racing Television online. And they said I only had a face for podcasting.
Thank you so much for joining us on today's ride here at Cars Yeah. Drive on over to carsyeah.com to find show notes and inspiring automotive fun. Download your free copy of Filler Up, a fun book filled with gorgeous photographs of fuel filler fun, including quotes from more inspiring automotive enthusiasts. Download your copy today, and we'll see you next time on Cars Yeah.